Do you struggle with balancing the demands of both your family life and your work life and feel like, despite your best efforts, sometimes you just aren't quite nailing either one of them? As a mom of six, the struggle is real. I totally get it. And in my 17 years of being a mother, I can't even believe that, the work side of my life has ebbed and flowed and gone through all of the cycles. I am passionate about my family. My kids are the center of my life. And yet, when I became a mom, I didn't want to let my dreams or my aspirations fall by the wayside. There's someone I know who is equally passionate about both sides of her life, and that's my good friend Yamel. Yamel is a fellow big family mom. She is a business owner with multiple successful businesses. And in this episode, she joins me to talk all about balancing business and babies. We're going to be talking about the challenges we've both experienced when it comes to balancing life and career, sharing our insights on how to balance the demands of motherhood with the challenges of entrepreneurship. We'll also be talking about how to foster connections and maintain a loving environment within your family alongside that pursuit of professional goals. And we can't forget to touch on the importance of self-care. When you're a busy mom and a career woman, it's really easy for this to take a backseat to everything else. But we're going to discuss why this means it has to be even more of a priority. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Radiant Womanhood. I am so glad you all are here with us. And everyone, I have a treat for you today, and I'm excited to introduce my friend Yamel with me today. And I feel like this is actually kind of a full circle moment because Yamel has been in the world of motherhood for such a long time. She has an incredible business and has a podcast as well, the Motherhood Kit podcast that I've been on a couple of times. So that's where I feel like this is a full circle moment that now we get to have a conversation here as well. And so I'm really excited about that today. So thanks for being with us today, Yamel.
Thank you for having me. I am beyond excited. I am so proud of you because I know that so many people are going to benefit from your gift and just from hearing your voice, period, because that's why you're a repeat guest on the Motherhood Kit, because you bring so much just knowledge and peace too. Like I always feel at peace when we're together. That's why I love when we do get to get away and have a lunch date or even get on the phone. Remember when we used to schedule like our phone dates?
We did, yes.
We're smaller or younger, but yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I cannot wait to have this conversation.
Yes. So I'm excited about this one today because, I'm a mom of lots of babies. We've got 6 kids in our house. Yamel is also a big family mama, so she understands the ins and outs of that a little bit. And that's a lot of what our conversation stems around for our coffee dates, our lunch dates, our phone dates. It's all this stuff with kids. But we also like to span the spectrum with babies and business. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today. Yamel, would you take just a second and introduce yourself, tell our listeners a little bit about who you are?
Sure. So my background, first of all, professionally is I'm a registered nurse. And I went the untraditional route in my nursing career after doing a bit of bedside nursing. I went into more of a case management role in pediatrics, which that led me to a director role in pediatrics, a program called medical foster care, where I spent many, many years of my career. But even when I was doing that, I was still like adding to my knowledge base. I will be a lifelong learner forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the world of birth and pregnancy and postpartum has always been near and dear to my heart. I had an experience when I was 10 and my mom was delivering my brother, and I helped her with some comfort measures and breathing. And I even wiped her bottom because my brother was crowning in our Brooklyn home. So that experience I feel was pivotal for me because I was always that person in my group that people would come and what do you think about this, breastfeeding technique? Or, hey, I'm feeling this. What should I do? So I was always talking about pregnancy and labor and birth. Like Tabitha said, I'm a mom of 5 and 3 are hospital births and 2 are home births, which also changed my life. And so then the term doula and the title doula sort of fell in my lap because being a nurse, I really couldn't hold hands with families like I am able to as a doula. So 10 years ago, One Love Doula was born, and we've been serving families for that long. And I started as a solo doula using my nursing background. And now we have a team. And then after that, I recently gave birth to One Love Nanny. So really just very much complementing each other as well as the Motherhood Kit to support, pregnancy, labor, birth, and early parenting or even parenting later on. So that's about me. Besides that, the fun part is, of course, I'm a mom of 5, which is very much my primary role. And I'm married to my high school sweetheart.
I think that's so beautiful. I love that. And I also find it's really intriguing when there are so many parts of our history, like our story beforehand, that really weave itself into being a part of our story right now. Like you said, when you helped with you were 10, kind of when a lot of that started to really weave into your story now when you helped your mom with your brother's birth and just all of these things. And sometimes we can feel like there's this whole path or what am I doing or where am I going? And really all of these things that we learn along the way weave in to build a really beautiful story and truly bring us to where we are. So I feel like also if there's anyone that's listening that's kind of like, I am going through a lot of stuff and I'm not sure if what I'm doing is what I want to be doing, find the lesson in what you're doing because you'll be able to weave that into your story later as you pursue the things that you love doing.
Yeah. And paying attention to what brings you joy, because I remember being a kid and everybody, because we used to go to my grandmother's house after school, like all the cousins. And I remember everybody playing with toys or watching TV or whatever. And I was playing with old charts, like medical charts that my aunt would bring me because my aunt is a nurse and she would bring me like blank charts to play with. And I would play like office receptionist or doctor and nurse. So I already knew that I wanted to be in the medical field. And I think that we need to pay attention to that. What brings us joy? So there may be something right now that you're doing and it's not bringing you joy. And it's okay to lean into that. Like you said, lean into your story and see what is truly out there for you.
Right, exactly. And make the pivot when necessary and when needed. It's okay to make the pivot, but learn what you can from where you're at as you're making that pivot for your story. I think that's awesome. Well, I know that raising a large family while building a business, you're now building multiple businesses. So that's not a small feat at all. So can you share some insight in how you balance the demands of motherhood, but also with the challenges of building those businesses, of entrepreneurship?
So one of the things that sounds so insane to me for you to say multiple businesses because, wow, I don't even see myself in that way yet. But having a business, I think one of the things that led me to it and stepping away from my director role is the flexibility in my schedule, right? But with that being, and I know all business owners are going to be listening to me and like, yeah, but we're always on, right? My phone is always on. My phone is always available for my team. You just never know. But I have really worked hard to make sure to allow myself time for the things that I really want to do, whether that is volunteering at PTA or like today, I don't have much on my calendar besides sitting with you. I want to spend the rest of the day maybe cleaning up before the little girls get home and just doing something fun to just relax my brain, right? But I will say that I think a lot of people think that we can't be moms and also be business owners or founders or entrepreneurs because it is still very much a male driven, thing, field, platform. And we're expected to be unemotional, right? We're expected to not perform well when something is going on with our kids or so on and so forth. We have these like labels because we're moms. And one of my personal goals has been to kind of like dismantle that. And my team makes fun of me all the time because they're like, you're so like on it. Like and I'm like, I have to be for the success now is not only for me, it's for the entire team. And I want them to, you know, have earnings and be able to provide for their family. But, what the things that I've taken with me and that I remind myself is that there will be mistakes, and I allow myself and give myself the space for that and not beat myself up. But I've learned a lot along the way. I've invested a lot into my knowledge as a business owner. It's not just a hobby. That's another thing. Moms that are business owners is like, oh, that's your hobby? Like, sure.
Right.
It's not. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. So behind the scenes, it is very much a well-oiled machine now because of, just learning from mistakes and learning from things that went wrong and restructuring. But nonetheless, I think it's been a wonderful journey.
Mm-hmm. Not afraid of making mistakes to be able to move forward and build that. Mm-hmm. I think that's really important because I can tend to be the type of person that wants it perfect before I put it out there. And I'm starting to, and not that I don't like things to be done well or with excellence, but sometimes I'm seeing that done is better than perfect. Like taking those steps forward, even when, at the risk of messing up or at the risk of failing, or it's okay to make mistakes, but learn and grow forward with it is a huge, I think, step in the direction of success, both for businesses and in, raising families. I mean, even on the other side of it, there's people that I talk to that maybe want to be moms and they're afraid to go that route because they don't have everything set up and perfect yet. And that's what I would tell them. It's never going to be the absolute perfect time.
Yeah.
But it's time. When it's time, it's time. So take that step. So whether it's in business, whether it's in family, don't be afraid to take that step forward.
I love that. And that was my kind of like my own personal tagline when I stepped away from my director role, because for a long time, everyone listening, this is going to be a shocker, for a very long time. And there were moments where I even sat with Tabitha and discussed this. I was working my full-time role and also working my business. That was my choice. You don't have to do it that way. If you're thinking about, launching a passion project, you don't have to do it that way. That was my personal choice because we had kids in college. We just had things that I was responsible for. And although I could have left my director role earlier, I still wanted to have some things in place. So I put that on myself. But when I made that decision to fully step away and fully commit myself to the business, I did it afraid. So that was my everyday, Yamel, you can do it afraid. Yamel, you can do it afraid. And I love what you said, Tabitha, about getting it done and not thinking about perfection. Because I don't like when people say, well, I'm doing my best, or just do your best. I feel like that's such a cop out. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because that's almost like, let's just do whatever. And if it comes out ugly, it's okay. No, it's not do whatever. It's let's do it. Let's do it all the way. If it's not perfect, it's okay. Right.
Yes.
Giving our, like that goes, you and I talk about that, our content, showing up online with our kids. And, being a mom is a lot about modeling. And I wanted my kids to see, just like when I became a nurse, when I went back to school, I wanted them to see me going for something that I truly loved. And that if I failed, that it's okay. I wanted to send that message to them. Because if I'm always just showing the things that went right, they're going to think that everything they do in their life has to be perfect. And I don't want them to carry around that pressure. We are one thing about our parenting style here, my mothering style, we are very transparent.
Well, either everything has to be done perfect, or you're doing it well and you're doing it perfectly, but I can't, so why even try? There's a couple of messages in that I think that our kids could take from that, instead of, like you said, we're doing it afraid. We're doing our best. We're giving it our all. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. And also, we get to learn from it. So every step we take, every choice we make, every, part of business and part of family, like we're learning and growing it together.
And that's the beauty of the journey. And I love that for us. How boring would life be if every day is just perfect? We wake up, we make our bed, the coffee's perfect, and it's our
True.
right. Like, how boring would our life be? And I think, I mean, I love learning. Of course, I don't want a major hurdle like the pandemic again, where as a small business owner, we lost thousands of dollars just in the first
Mhm.
week. But I can appreciate, I've hired not the right team members. And I've had to learn from that. Or I've hired somebody for a project that wasn't great. And it taught me how to navigate those types of conversations, right, with people, because I do have certain expectations. And again, as a woman that is a
Mhm.
business owner, sometimes if we communicate or convey our needs, we are not going to say we are a curse word, right? Because we're communicating our needs. So those are some of the challenges that come up, but I try to remind myself every day, even when things are like crazy with the business, that at the end of the day, my why
Mhm.
is because I love to help families. I remind myself my why. So even when it's a horrific day, why am I doing this? And that it's okay to step away and dedicate time to my family because my
Yeah.
whole business is around family building. So it is okay for me not to reply to that email right away. It is okay for me not to show up to, a certain meeting and decline because at the end of the day, my family, comes first, just like I'm telling moms on all of my
Right. Right. You have to live it, which I love that about you, that you are living it. And that's something that I think that I can see in your family. You have spent that time working to build relationships. And so with building those strong relationships within a large family, I think really within any family, but especially a large family, because there's so many people, so many moving parts, it's a good skill. So how do you foster that connection? How do you maintain that supporting and loving environment in your family while also pursuing those professional goals?
So big family moms, join in, join in. Have you ever seen that lady on TikTok? She's like, join in, everybody. Um, One thing that I learned very, very early on, I've been married already close to 26 years. A mistake that I did that I don't want any of you to make is I wasn't making time for my husband. I was just a mom for a very long time. Tabitha and I have talked about this too on the side. So, for example, tonight I am going out with my husband. There is no guilt attached to that. No guilt at all. And again, motherhood, parenthood is a lot about modeling. So, what are our kids seeing? They are seeing two people that love each other and that are dedicating time to one another. Regarding fostering relationships with them, one of our primary things, which is super corny, right? But dinner together. But when we're having dinner, we all do a whoopsie and a poopsie of the day. And everybody has to do it. It's a rule. The little girls keep us accountable because they're like, everybody, you have to say it. You cannot skip. Everybody it's like the high of our day and the low of our day.
Yes, I was
And
to say we do the same thing. We call it high low, but I love your little whoopsie and poopsie title for it.
you can borrow that, tab that, and all of you can borrow it too. So whoopsie and a poopsie. So that helps to keep us together, right? As a family, as a unit,
Mhm.
taking time together. Like all of us were just at, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to give you a little sneak right here. A little, not even a sneak. What is it? A hidden gem? No, I'm not gatekeeping. I'm not
There we go.
gatekeeping. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm giving you guys a little insider. Tabitha owns the most beautiful cabin with the most beautiful view, and we are frequent flyers. And so that's like that's become our little safe space. I don't know what it is. I don't know what magic
It's so
Tabitha and
peaceful.
yeah, I don't know what you guys, I told you that via text. I don't know what you guys sprinkled over there, but we feel very connected there. I'll start tearing up, but we feel really connected and we have a really good time. So I think that's going to be something that is very much in our year to year. But besides that, other little outings together, right? Whether it is like a a dinner together outside or a lunch together outside, because I cook a lot. But as you know, Tabitha, when you're cooking, you're not really spending time with them because you're, taking care of the kitchen. And then the last thing that I would say for big families is we have to spend time with them individually. We have to. And I know that you do this too, because they are individuals. And let me tell you that they love being part of a big family. They do. Because we talk about it. And like I told you, we're very transparent. But it is very easy to get lost, your voice to get lost in a big family.
Yes.
Very easy. So whether it is like, I'm not into sports, but I got into sports because of my son. He plays football and he's a wrestler. So now I'm a wrestling mom. I've been a wrestling mom for 4 years and a football mom for 4 years. Now I know the plays and I know what's going on the field. Whereas before that wasn't my interest, but I made it my interest because I wanted to connect with him. And then the girls, that's easy because I'm such a girl mom. I'm so girly. But I make sure to, whether it is, my oldest doesn't live at home. So maybe a phone call in the morning where I'm just listening to her and talking to her, or, a breakfast together, coffee somewhere, or just sitting on the couch together. But individual time is very important. And the other kids just have to get it. Like, this is not your time. This is for him.
Well, it makes it very intentional too. They feel special because they know that your intention isn't just mom's here because we're living in the same house and we're just here together. Mom's here because she wants to spend time with me. And so I think it sends a different message when it's the individual intentional time. And I will say that's hard to do in a big family as well, because there's so many of them. Making sure to have the time with each of them that, to be completely honest, sometimes that's something I struggle with here and there as far as, when I'm getting it in. But Chris and I both have that heart to do that. And so it's nice having a partner that we can both take turns doing that. Like you said, finding different interests for each of them and then being intentional with those moments together.
Agreed. Yep. I love that for us. And it's hard. It is hard because they all have different things that they like to do. And you may not like to do it. And that's okay, moms. That's another thing that I along my journey, I've learned. It is okay if you don't share the exact interests of your child. It's okay. But you can somehow enjoy it for them, right? Like the sports. I'm not.
Right.
You think I love sitting in Friday night football for all these years? We have not been able to make plans on Fridays during all of William's high school career. Yeah. But guess what? When he looks back, he will remember his family in the bleachers always. And, those years, like everybody says, the years go by so fast. Trust me, everyone, they do go by very fast. I cannot believe that my daughter's about to be 26, the oldest. I feel like I just gave birth to her. They do go by super fast.
So quickly. Yeah. I'm right behind you. We have one about to graduate, start her career out of the house, and then two, the twins that are still in pull-ups at night. They recently potty trained. So there's this big span. But even that, with them, seeing how quickly that time went by to where we're at right now, and then to the one that's about to be out of the house, it's crazy.
Time. It's a great time. All great experiences. But yes, you're right. It flies and you want to almost get it back. I have a hard time looking back at pictures. I don't know if any mom listening can relate. I literally want to teleport back to them as infants.
It's almost like your body craves it. I crave to be in that moment and just hold them then as they look in that photo. It's a strange feeling.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember your postpartum journey? Like all of it? Do you remember any part of the nighttime, or do you remember it? I don't remember it so vividly.
You don't, or you do?
I do not. And so I was asking my husband that because I don't remember us being extremely sleep deprived. I don't remember feeling so tired. So I was thinking to myself, and I wanted to tell other moms, record yourself. Now we have so much technology, right?
Yes.
I didn't have that throughout all the kids. Record yourself in those moments. Even if you're setting it up and it doesn't look perfect, the house is probably going to be a mess, whatever, but you're going to want to look back at that version of yourself.
That's a great tip. That is really good. Because you're right. I mean, I remember a lot of different parts of it, but actually in those moments, or like you said, the extreme tiredness, no, I mean, I remember it was there, but what it felt like or what it looked like, not really. Which is why probably we've had so many.
Oh, we have memory loss issues, and then we just like, "Oh, we're pregnant again."
But it was great. Let's do it. Um, but I think that's something too in motherhood. Like a lot of times we spend so much time taking care of everyone else's needs. So what do you recommend? What do you tell your moms that you work with or families about being able to take care of ourselves as well? Like, why do you believe some of that's essential? And especially when you're also pursuing business dreams as well.
Yeah. So one little tool that we provide our soon to be postpartum clients is a postpartum planning guide, which I think that could easily be used by any mom at any stage, because one of the main exercises that this guide um, guides you through is identifying the things that you need, not the things that your baby needs or your spouse needs or your dog needs or the house needs, but what are the things that you need in order to, keep you going, keep you happy, keep you sane, keep you grounded, all these things. And I think even for me, sometimes I have to kind of take a pause when I'm not feeling okay, when I'm feeling too stressed, or for me, when I'm feeling very anxious or just high stress, it manifests in I don't sleep well, which I'm noticing that, or my tummy is upset like the whole day. And I know it's stress. I'm anxious about something. So I have to like take a step and recognize, okay, what can I do to bring some relaxation into my life, right? And one thing that I will say is that when I talk to people about, are you caring for yourself or are you taking time for themselves? They're like, I don't have time for a spa day, you crazy amount, or I can't afford that. That is not self-care necessarily, or like I love the term comfort care. I love to do my skincare at night, and the Motherhood Kit hears this all the time. And I've even talked about this on like TV recordings, and people are like, "Yeah, you look like you spend a lot of time on your skin." I'm like, thank you, I do. That is one of my non-negotiables. It brings me a lot of joy, a lot of comfort. I learn about different ingredients and things that I want to use on my skin. It's the biggest organ that we have. It's the first thing that you see on everybody, their face, right? So at night, it not only gives me time to take care of myself, my body, but I use it also like to almost like meditating. Like I say affirmations to myself, right? So that's so simple. I'll put jazz in the background. That's not costing me tons of money besides my initial investment, right? In my skincare. But I'm not leaving my house. I'm not scheduling with anyone. So I want you to dismantle the thought that self-care needs to be a weekend getaway, getting on a flight,
Right.
going to an expensive brunch, going to a spa. No, it could be that your husband or your partner takes the kids and you stay at home with a quiet home and you read a chapter in your book. That could be comfort care. Or it could be at the end of the night, your partner does the nighttime routine with the kids, which this is something that my husband does every night. And you make yourself a nice cup of tea and sit in your bed. That could be it. So really, I think the first step is, what is something that brings you comfort, that brings you peace, that takes away some stress? What is an act or a thing or something that you can do for yourself? And it doesn't have to be crazy. Sure, who doesn't love a spa day?
Right. We all do. But I love how you brought that up even just now and even at the beginning of this question of what is it that I need or what is it that brings me comfort or peace? Because it is easy to mix those things up. What do I need? I need to do some laundry. I need to clean that. No, that has to do with my house or my family or my kids. But what is it that I need for peace here, peace in my mind, peace in my heart, even peace in my body
Yeah.
to be
And
able to take those next steps.
And doing nothing is productive. Doing nothing is productive. And I have to repeat this to Yamel many times because I am a busy body. Like my daughter says, so over Christmas Eve, I decided to order food. So in a Hispanic household, Christmas Eve is really big and we cook a lot, probably more than even Thanksgiving. And it's called Noche Buena. And I said, you know what? I'm going to order from the restaurant that we go to. It's a Latin market. And so we're all like, oh my God, what are you, they were making fun of me. What are you going to do all day? You're going to go crazy. And my daughter goes, yeah, she'll probably repave the driveway or find a wall to take down or something. Cause I will. So I really made it a point to like, if my body wants to have a seat or several seats and cuddle up under a blanket and maybe just scroll on my phone for a little bit, that is okay. Doing nothing is productive too. You have to recharge. We do it with all our electronics, right? We set it on a dock, put it to charge. Think of yourself like that too. You need to recharge as well. That's pivotal for your mothering success.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I totally agree. Pivotal for mothering success, pivotal for creativity, pivotal for success in business and in life. And I think that's a good reminder for all of us listening, moms or even not moms, like take the time to recharge. It has to be done. Otherwise, your body, everything's going to shut down for you and on you. And that's something we don't want. Like recharge so that you can keep the creativity flowing, keep the, your motherhood journey going and successful. But Yamel, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you for joining me today, for sharing this conversation with me, for sharing your wisdom with our guests. I really think that there can be a beautiful chaos to raising babies and building businesses. And so I believe that your wisdom and your stories and your tips have really helped pave the way for others doing that as well. I know it helps me. So I want to say thank you and let's just keep shining bright.
Thank you, Tabitha. Thanks for having me.